Well, it's been quite a while since we've done a film review. I wanted to try and do them about once a month, maybe once every 2 months. Just seems there's a lot of timely episodes to do in the meantime, but I wanted to get back into that. So we'll do that this week with a review of Minority Report. Hello, my name's Nicholas Wansbutter. I'm a lawyer in Stratford, Ontario, Canada, and welcome to Don't Talk TV. So before we dive into our review of the 2002 film Minority Report, I'd be remiss if I didn't remind viewers of the mugs that we're selling. Again, we're selling these at cost $10 a mug. That's no profit to us, plus whatever shipping is, which with Canada Post, probably the cheapest you're looking at is about $20. So if you're interested in having one just to kind of support us or have a mug with a nice little caricature of me from back in the days when I had a handlebar mustache, we'd be happy to set you up with one. And also, I hate to keep bugging people about this, but I really think this is the only way we're going to break free, I should say, of the 8,500 subscriber plateau we've been stuck in for years now, is if you could like and comment. From what I understand, that's the most effective way to get other people to see the video on YouTube, at least. And of course, share if you found it all interesting or helpful. So, as I said, today we're going to do Minority Reports, a 2002 adaptation of yet another Philip K. Dick novel. Seems like that's a recurring theme here. At this point, I've reviewed almost all or most of the Philip K. Dick novels that have been made into films. And I think that's because Philip K. Dick was someone who was clearly observing what was going on in society, had concerns about a lot of things I'm concerned about, and wrote these cautionary tales that are now coming to life, as we've discussed in previous episodes. And I think that's in no case is that more true than in the case of Minority Report. I mean, we don't actually have some of the things in that movie, but we have a lot of them. So let's take a look at the trailer, and that'll give you a bit of a taste of what the film looks like, what it's about. It's a Spielberg film, stars Tom Cruise. I think he's kind of a love him or hate him kind of guy. Personally, I like Tom Cruise, but you know, I think the movie's definitely worth watching for the reasons that we'll discuss as we get into it. Let's have a look at the trailer.
Okay, Jan, what's coming? Double homicide, one male, one female. Killer's male, white, 40.
Set up a perimeter until we're en route.
I'm placing you under arrest for the future murder of Sarah Marks.
Give the man his hand.
The future can be seen.
So as you can see from this preview, it gives you a pretty good idea of what this is all about here. So essentially, you've got these precogs who are psychic individuals who can see bits and pieces of the future. And from this, the police are then able to go and arrest people before they even commit a crime. And it's what's even more disturbing how they do it is they'll have these images and a police officer will organize the images on the screen, like the one that you saw Tom Cruise using there. And there will be a judge essentially by a Zoom link who's listening to this legalese explanation by a police officer. I mean, very similar to how warrants are issued in real life, but this is here essentially trying and convicting an individual and authorizing their arrest on a crime they haven't even committed yet. So, of course, things go wrong, right? Tom Cruise's character himself gets committed or accused of a pre-crime that he, of course, hasn't committed yet, because no one's committed the crimes that they're accused of yet in this film. But he more so than, he was never going to commit the crime, and he kind of starts uncovering how this system, as should be blatantly obvious, can be abused. But I say should be blatantly obvious because these things are apparently not blatantly obvious, if not to lawmakers, at least to members of society who tolerate these sorts of laws. So obviously a major theme of this film is the arrest of criminals before they've even committed a crime. And this movie is made 2002, so it's very close after September 11th. So that was a lot of what I think was on Steven Spielberg's mind, and a lot of the themes he was thinking of with surveillance state. You also see things like retinal scans, robotic things that inspect people. And then I think also very interesting is the intrusive, personalized advertising you see throughout the film. Now, apparently, people who watched the film didn't like that. They found it was too intrusive. They're getting bothered all the time with this product placement. But I think it actually works really well. It shows how the main character is being enticed to buy these things and therefore affirm his place in society. And I mean, the invasiveness and the invasion of privacy of these personalized advertising is a huge thing today. I mean, Google, if you use Gmail, they're reading all your emails. I mean, have you ever noticed how you'll get ads that pertain to things you've talked about or things you've searched for? I mean, that's exactly what's going on. But of course, the main thing is the pre-crime. And pre-crime is something that is happening in Canadian society today. Obviously, we don't have it to the extent of having these psychic individuals isolated in some pool who are giving images of crimes that have yet to occur to police. But we have things that are very similar. In episode 195, I spoke about the Online Harms Act, Bill 63. Now, that never became law because it died when the government was dissolved. But as we've discussed in other episodes, Prime Minister Mark Carney has promised to bring that back and maybe bring it back with a vengeance, with even more powers than it had before. And it had in it, as I discussed in episode 195, it has pre-crime elements in it where you can get these preemptive peace bonds. If you think someone might commit a hate crime, you can get this. Now, a peace bond isn't quite the same as getting thrown in jail forever, but it has significant legal consequences. It can stop you going over the border, can stop you from being bonded, it can stop you from being able to own firearms, and it will restrict your ability to go certain places, and you won't be able to speak to certain people, and you could go to jail if you breach any of that. So it has a very strong pre-crime undertone. Also, C-21, which is law, I talked about that, episode 10, episode 11. Recommend you have a look at those. C-21, that again has these red flag laws, preemptive ability to take people's firearms away from them, and preemptive peace bonds. So the future, or the pre-crime stuff, is here. And arguably it's in an even more nefarious way, because we don't even have psychics who can legitimately see the future, allegedly, that are telling the police about this. These are just people. Usually the classic line is, I don't know what he's capable of. Oh, he got angry at me once, or we broke up and I don't know what he's capable of. I'm not sure what the history of how I'm not sure what he's capable of became there. That means there's justifiable fear and court orders should be in place. I mean, to me, that's an expression of not knowing versus knowing. But be that as it may, it's clearly a piece of Canadian law at this point. So I think Minority Report is a very important film to watch because of these themes. It's a lot of things that are very accurate and things that are coming to pass in maybe a more subtle fashion. In terms of the film itself, I mean, it's not one of my favorite films. It's not one of the films that are in my film collection, such as some of the other ones we've reviewed, like Idiocracy and Blade Runner and Dread, which are like real classics in my view. But nevertheless, it is definitely worth watching. I found it to be an enjoyable film. I mean, Steven Spielberg generally does some pretty good films. The special effects are good. There's some good imagery. And I mean, Tom Cruise is always good from an action movie type of perspective. So you'd have some enjoyment while receiving the cautionary tale. So I think it's a movie worth watching, and it gets included in Don't Talk TV's recommendations. This video obviously is not legal advice. If you need legal advice, call a lawyer. You can call me or another lawyer. My contact information is listed below if you want me to be the one to give you some advice. We're always open to suggestions, so you can email those to the email address listed below. And as I said at the beginning, if you found this video at all interesting, helpful, informative, please like, share, subscribe. and comment to help us out with the algorithms and with getting beyond the 8,500 subscriptions that we've installed at.